Hi, my name's Peter. I want to experiment with watercolors some more. So, in this video sponsored by Squarespace, I'm here getting some inspiration in a bog garden. I thought it was appropriate because it's a place full of water and color. There's a creek over there. This is all like swampy area. It's beautiful, lush. It smells good. Sounds amazing. I'm already getting ideas. I don't think it'll solve all my problems, but I'm just absorbing, thinking, feeling. We'll see what happens. Pre-test checklist complete. Commencing watercolor art experiment 468.05-C1. Green lights across panels 1 and 2. Authorization code Kilo Bravo Bravo 17 Victor. Passphrase Blue Forest Millstone. This experiment consists of me using a piece of watercolor paper. And instead of my previous watercolor experiment where I drew inky lines on paper and then added the watercolor afterwards, in this case I am drawing pencil lines on watercolor to create a semblance of form and structure first, and then adding the watercolor, and then adding the inky lines at the end. And then a little bit more watercolor here and there, and then some more lines after, a little mix at the end. Things don't stay too rigid. Also, a switch in how I apply the watercolor itself, in the sense that I do wet application. I just use a brush with just water on it to create sections, controlled puddles of water on the paper. And this really only works because it's watercolor paper. Regular paper would just fall apart and get mushy and gunky. But adding pigment to these sections, these puddles of water, it lets you create cool swaths of color, cool gradients and stuff like that. Now, I am going to mention Squarespace at this moment. Squarespace has a lot of incredible tools for designing your own website, whether you have a photography business or just some creative elements that you want the world to see, or maybe you have some things that you're trying to sell, whether they're digital things that exist only online or physical things. Squarespace has e-commerce options that make it very easy to sell these things to people. They totally keep track of all the annoying paperwork, the tracking numbers. They email all your customers for you so that the customers know what's up, where everything is, or if it's just a download, they take care of that. You just have to do the fun part of making the art. So go check out one of the cool templates and customize it. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and then go to squarespace.com/PeterDraws for 10% off your first website or domain. All right, I'm currently wearing a pinky ring and drinking coffee out of my trusty Daft Punk coffee mug. I don't know what makes something actually a coffee mug as opposed to just like a mug that could be used for tea or soup. I think one of the most cozy things you can put in a mug is maybe some kind of chowder or stew. The thought of eating like New England clam chowder out of a mug sounds really nice to me right now, but I think maybe that's more suited to maybe a larger mug, because this mug is perfectly coffee sized to me, and it feels so nice to hold in my hand with some coffee. But I think if I was going to have some clam chowder, I'd want a bigger mug. It would not be enough clam chowder. It'd just be like an appetizer. It's about the size of those paint samples you can get from Home Depot or Lowe's, right? And it would really just be a clam chowder sample. I would at least need 2, maybe 3 mugs full. I mean, 3 might be pushing it. It depends whether the mug of clam chowder is, what proportion of the meal the chowder is. Is it a side dish? Is it the main dish? Are you putting crackers in it? What other foods go with chowder? Maybe I guess you need some. Typically, you're supposed to have some vegetables or something. Are there vegetables in clam chowder? I don't know. Wait, New England clam chowder is the kind of the white milky stuff, right? Because there's the other type that is tomato based, but the white milky stuff that's got to be like, it's got to be like that because of what are there, like potatoes in there or something, or is it just cream based? If it's just cream based, then I am worried about the lack of vegetables, but I'm not that worried about the lack of vegetables because I don't really go out of my way to eat a lot of vegetables in my daily life, which I know could and should be concerning. Do you think that drinking coffee counts as vegetables? I mean, that's pretty much a very, very light vegetable soup. I'm basically it's basically vegetable broth. It's bean broth, isn't it? And I'm not getting the physical benefits of fiber, but I take a multivitamin most days that I remember. And those things are expensive. Have you ever bought a bottle of multivitamins? They're really expensive. Is it just because they know they can? Is it one of those things where they know they can charge a lot for vitamins and all the vitamin manufacturers agreed that they can charge a lot, so they will? Or is it because of all the crazy little tidbits of minerals and what sits, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, all the crazy little things they put into the vitamins that actually are valuable and expensive and rare, like a little bit of magnesium and vitamin this and vitamin that, vitamin D12, B17, K9, everything. Maybe all that stuff does kind of add up, or maybe it's expensive to gather a little bit of each one and put it in each pill. Anyways, I take a little bit of that and I'm surviving. I need to eat more vegetables, okay? I know that. Hopefully, look, I can't solve all my problems at once. Eating more vegetables, it's on the list. It's just not at the top. I don't know what's at the top right now, but it's just kind of like surviving. Closer to the top is like not being miserable and depressed and broke. And I'm not miserable and depressed and broke. I'm just trying to ward it off, right? And you could argue that eating vegetables is a step in the right direction itself. Like that could help, because being healthier will make you feel better. And me, right now, I'm talking through it myself, and I see the logic in that. Like, when you do better, you feel better. Or is it when you feel better, you do better? Maybe it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't know. I just know, look, it's difficult because I definitely am one of those people who eats food as a coping thing, like a comfort thing. Like if I'm having a bad day, I turn to food, right? If I'm miserable, and I rarely turn to a sprig of celery if I'm feeling miserable, and it's bad. It's not a healthy coping mechanism. But what are healthy coping one of the main things I like about drawing is that it's one of the rare healthy coping mechanisms I have. When I have feelings I don't know how to deal with, drawing is one of the ways I can deal with them that doesn't have a lot of downsides, right? In fact, it mainly has upsides. So that's good. I got to be thankful for that. But I got to deal with these other coping mechanisms that do have downsides, like eating unhealthy things. I got to figure out how to I don't know. I'm just jealous of these people that seem to have their lives together and just snack on healthy stuff all the time and are healthy. This is the only body I've got, so I got to figure it out. I know I said that before, and it might seem so obvious, but it still hasn't completely sunk into my head, because it's hard to make the right decisions all the time especially when you're feeling miserable. And I know this sounds like a pity party as I'm talking about it, but I'm kind of just verbally journaling right now. So I'm just kind of getting all the thoughts out as they come into my head. That's all that's going on. But look, I believe in me, and if you're going through any similar problems, maybe your coping mechanism isn't food, maybe it's some other thing. I don't know what it is. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's okay if you do it again, but just don't give up on yourself, okay? Because I'm not giving up on me. I don't know what all the answers are, but let's just keep making changes little by little. And if you make a change in the wrong direction, if you don't figure it all out all at once, if you, I feel like sometimes I watch too many movies where in the span of like 1 or 2 hours, the main character goes from, terrible to happily ever after. And that gives me a false sense of hope in myself that I'll be able to fix my life in just the same amount of time or something. It doesn't happen that quick. Maybe it doesn't. And maybe sometimes I feel like I have the wrong goals too. So I don't know. It takes constant reevaluation, I think. Maybe it does. I wish I could be more sure of some things. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. When I compare it to the other watercolor drawing I did recently, I'm pretty happy with the progress. I need to keep experimenting with watercolors. It's a beautiful thing, and the more I do it, look, one of the benefits of continuing to work with watercolors is it's an interesting medium. You got to learn how to just physically work with it, just physically working with the brush and the way that pigments flow around when you're using different amounts of water, different amounts of pigment in the water, just the way the brush moves, like just the physical nature of it is different, but also, choosing how to compose the drawing with color is also different. So there's a few different aspects there to work with, and you can only figure it out if you keep doing it. So I got to keep doing it. All right. Thanks everyone. Have a good day. All right. Take it easy. Love you. Bye.